So you want to be enlightened. The first step on that path is to understand what the problem is in the first place. And the problem essentially is a matter of misidentification and confusion. A person who's experienced what people refer to as enlightenment sees reality clearly and as it is. They're aware of the impermanent nature of experience, thoughts, characteristics, ideas, civilizations, people. Because anything that rises, anything that can come into existence, can also go out of existence. And people who do not accept their enlightenment or do not know what they are, they're so identified with these changing phenomena and changing circumstances that whenever something comes into their life, it either makes them happy or sad. Sometimes they're neutral to it, but usually there's a charge. And whenever something leaves their life, again, they're either happy or sad because they want certain things in their life and they don't want other things within their life. And so this creates the polarity, the alternating waves of experience, of joy and sorrow. And if we really mean what we say, that we want to be awake, enlightened, clear, self-realized, know what we are, we have to accept the fact that we are, one way or another, going to have to go beyond joy and sorrow and our identification with it. Now, since we're used to working through the personality and the ego, all these things that change, that is essentially what defines the ego, what creates our ego, our personalities, our soul characteristics. And that's why all of us have different aversions and different attractions, because we have different levels of identification, different things that we enjoy, different things that we don't enjoy. But whatever we enjoy or don't enjoy, it doesn't matter, because it's still an attachment to something, some object that we consider to be outside of ourselves. So what are we to do about this insanity, this state of delusion? Because if you think about it, we accept a certain level of delusion and insanity. But if you look at the mentally ill, who sees things that aren't there, who talks to themselves, who have ideas that are totally false, that is taking it to an extreme. But from the level of the seer or the sage who knows what reality is, even our normal experience is insane and a delusion. So we have to be ready to go beyond this, to let go of it. And there are two methods, or two paths, which work together to create the proper framework or the proper foundation for this state. One of them is inquiry, asking, questioning, trying to figure out what you are really, truly. And the other is work or action. And both of these go together. So example of work or action. This is something that we've talked about often, which is getting your life organized and in order, or at least organized in such a way that you are at peace with it. It's not distressing, not causing you too much distraction. And the ways you do that are, number one, attending to the body, making sure that it's as fit and strong as it can be. This removes the distractions of sickness and debility as best possible. The next actions to take are to adopt a lifestyle that balances and harmonizes the mind, which means that we pay attention to people that we surround ourselves with, to the entertainment that we enjoy, to the thoughts that we choose to think and allow into our awareness. We take action to create a mental space that allows the mind to function when it needs to, so that you can think, so that you can work effectively in the world, but allows the mind to rest and be at peace when it's not necessary. The third types of actions that we can take is adopting a meditation or a prayer practice, something that allows us to internalize our attention, to let go of our attachment to externals. So once a day, if you have a place where you can go that's quiet, where you can make it a point that you will not be disturbed, turning off cell phones, computers, telling your spouse or your children to leave you alone for a bit, and go into such a place knowing that you are safe, that you have nothing else to attend to, and that you can give your full attention and awareness to a meditation or prayer practice. And then you use your meditation techniques, or you use your prayer, until you feel calm and clear, and experience an alert, awake, yet relaxed state where all is well. And once you're able to experience this state repeatedly and exist in it, waiting, watching, simply being, observing, then this allows the body and the mind to de-stress itself. And it opens a window beyond the collection of thoughts that you surround yourself with, so that you can catch a glimpse of what you really are, of the infinite formless nature of your being. And this may take a while, days, months, years, but the more you do it, the more consistently you practice, the easier it becomes. And so how do you know if you're failing in meditation? A lot of people think if they have thoughts or emotions that arise in meditation, that they're failing, that they're not experiencing what they need to with their practice. You are only failing when you are not aware. So if during your meditation you fall asleep, you daydream, you nod off, you lose your focus, you lose your presence, then you might say that you're failing, although you're still trying, so we have to give you credit. However, if you're meditating and you are watching, you are alert, you are present yet relaxed, and you still see thoughts within your mind, or you still have an occasional emotion or memory that arises, as long as you don't get sucked into those emotions or those memories or those thoughts, and you can just watch them float by, watch them pass, like a log going down a stream, then you are still being successful, because the key is the presence. One thing you can use to understand this a little bit better: imagine that you are in nature, in a field, with the sun shining and the grass rippling in the wind, and the trees all around you, and you can hear birds or crickets or whatever's in your part of the world. And all you are doing is sitting there, just observing, letting whatever sounds or sights or feeling against the skin, the wind, whatever it might be. Just observing. That is like being the witness. And so you want to take this idea, this image, into your meditation. So when your eyes are closed and you are being present, you are sitting within yourself, metaphorically speaking, and your thoughts arise. This is like the wind blowing. And a memory will pop up. This is like the sun shining. Or an emotion will pass through, or a feeling within the body will come up. This is like the sounds around you when you were in nature. So if you can remain just simply watching, letting it all happen without you getting pulled in or distracted by it, then you are successfully meditating. And eventually, all of those thoughts, memories, and emotions will lose their force, will lose their momentum, and they'll fall away. And once they fall away, you will catch a glimpse of what you truly are, that clear, free state, which is eternal and timeless, which is not dependent on your personality or your life experiences. And in time you learn to stay there, meditating or not. And these are examples of actions that you take to experience what we call enlightenment. Now the idea of knowledge, this is simply knowing what you are, so this will result in knowledge. However, sometimes you can speed it along, because once you hit that thought-free, clear state, you're in it, but you might not be having complete understanding of what you're experiencing. And so what you can do when that occurs is to simply ask, what am I? And wait. And the realizations will come not in words usually, but as in an understanding that is beyond the mind. You won't need any reasons. You won't need any descriptions. You will just know what you are. So you continue to ask, what am I? After you experience that clear, thought-free state. And I even recommend to ask this throughout the day, when you are interacting with people, when you are having certain experiences before you go to sleep, when you wake up, when you're in the shower, when you're eating. You can pull back and ask yourself, what is it that is experiencing this right now? What is it that experiences this change? And the more persistent and curious you are about this, the quicker you will know. Because you are giving yourself space. You are allowing yourself to be what you are, to experience that clarity. And you have to remember that work and knowledge together, this is what leads to the supreme goal of liberation. And that simply doing actions without knowledge, without gaining knowledge, will not be completely transformative. Neither will knowledge be completely transformative unless you accept it and begin to live from it. So once you know what you are, once you catch glimpses of it, you don't just say, well, that's nice, and move on, as you always have been. You kind of inquire, how is this applicable to my life? How will this change how I interact with others? How will this change the way I see things? And when you apply this knowledge, along with doing your daily work, you exhaust your karma, you exhaust your delusion, and you move beyond sorrow. You move beyond joy into that timeless state of being, which is what we're really talking about when we refer to enlightenment.